So people often have this idea in their head that sort of stereotypes of accountants, that they're pretty much boring math nerds that don't get out very
in
much.
their 50s.
Yeah. So are those people right?
Yeah.
Hello, business people of Earth, and welcome to NEBiznis, the podcast where we find out about the business people behind the business. My name's Rob Baines from Rob Cam Productions, and today I am joined by the man, the only accountant that you'll find with a calculator in one hand and axe in the other. It's Callum Tinkle. Welcome to the show, mate. You all right?
Yeah, it's about. Thank you very much.
Good stuff. Is this your first podcast you've
First
been on?
podcast.
It's nice to get people on the podcast who's not done one before. But you did say that you like the sound of your own voice.
Yeah,
So it's,
these headphones are great.
you're going to get some for home.
It's just so I can listen to myself. Just mic myself up when I'm walking
Ashley's
around the
going
house.
to be like at home, just like, what is he doing with the headphones on again? I'm just talking to myself, you know.
She'll just come and scream in the mic or something. I know what she's like. I know exactly what she's
Brilliant. Okay, so the first question I'm going to ask you today is the sort of warm-up question. A chance to sort of tell the audience a little bit about how you started. What is your origin story?
So I started in accountancy when I was 17. I actually trained here in Darlington with my cousin. He gave me the opportunity to progress, which was really good. And then I left when I was 19. Just decided that I felt like it was time to go on my own, even though I was 19-year-old. But I kind of had no responsibilities then. I was living at home.
Yeah.
I was in my final year of my qualification. I was very fortunate that my dad funded that. So big up Callum for that. And my mum as well, Margaret. So they both funded me through that and allowed me to do that. But I just decided that I've been in accountancy for a few years by that point, and I decided that I want to do things a little bit different. So I literally started in my bedroom at my mum and dad's house. With £50 in the bank and a laptop. That's all I had. And then I set about trying to find clients. That's kind of how we started it. Like I said, 19-year-old, I didn't have much responsibility. I had to grow up very quickly in those first six months to 12 months because all of a sudden you're 6 or 12 months down the line, and it was slow going at the start, very hard. It's a very, very, I want to say outdated. It is an outdated profession. It is. So some people were kind of struggling with the fact that I was 19-year-old. I was just about to qualify. I was not long before I was 20 when I really started to kick the business off. So I was really, really young for an accountant. And people struggled with that massively. And the amount of conversations I had where they went, "Oh, you're very young." And it's like, I am, but if anything, that means I know what's just happened in the accountancy world. So I struggled on with that for a couple of years, and I eventually got an office about two and a half years in. Yeah. That obviously skyrocketed the business a little bit. Yeah. Probably a little bit too much.
All right, okay.
Because I was very young. I was bit silly, let's just say. I had some personal issues and stuff like that, so probably blew a lot of that money and blew a lot of that time that I shouldn't have done. But I was young, in the early 20s when I did that. Yeah. Then I got to about 26, and that's where things changed completely when we launched Fresh. So I'd given up CT Accountancy Services. I'd pretty much given up on accountancy, to be honest with you. I'd had a little bit of a lull. I didn't really want to do it anymore. I had a small break from it for a few months. I got contacted by one of my clients, and I'd given a lot of them away by this point as well. And I got contacted by one of my clients, and who I'd actually given away, and he'd literally pleaded with me to come back.
All right, okay.
Because he'd gone with a local accountant, let's just say, an elder gentleman, and he was just hating it. It was just like they'd stripped all the technology away and stuff that we were using. So that kind of triggered me to, right, maybe that's my way to continue with this, is to just really go down the technology route.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we came back, and that was where Fresh came from, Fresh Start. Very cliche, I know, but that's where it came from. So Fresh Start, and that's where we came up with Fresh Business Solutions, and we wanted to be more than accountancy that's why we didn't just call ourselves Fresh Accountants. We wanted to change how accountancy was done and how businesses were able to use their accountant and utilise that knowledge that we have. So that's when we came back with Fresh, and that was, we're now sixth year now, and now we're seven employees and 520 clients later, so it's changed a little bit in the last few years.
So you sort of little bit touched on like the old fashioned sort of accounts and stuff. So people, I mean, when I did say to people, I'm doing another NEBiznis podcast, and said, I'm getting an accountant on. I wouldn't say their response was like thrilled.
I'm really not surprised by that.
But yeah, so people often have this idea in their head that sort of stereotypes of accountants, that they're pretty much boring math nerds that don't get out very much.
In their 50s.
Yeah. So are those people right?
Yeah. Apart from myself, I'm not 50, by the way. But no, it is. That was my point. It was such a. It was a really, really, really outdated profession.
Yeah.
It still is, and to a certain degree. But when I started, 13 years ago, it was really outdated. It was just so. I worked for my cousin.
By the book, so.
Yeah, it was, and I worked for my cousin, and we put creating this spreadsheet with the accountant I was working with at the time there.
Yeah.
And it was like we created this thing, and it took weeks to do it. But at the time, it was quite amazing because it did all the calculations and stuff for you. But I still thought, spreadsheet, no offense to Excel, but I just thought there's got to be a better way. And then obviously the likes of technology came out. You saw the likes of QuickBooks, Xero, Sage, all the big boys in the market kind of bring out these new platforms. They were good. They all had their bugs, as most software does, as we all know. Never go in at the start, that's what everyone says. But I also thought there was something missing with those as well, with those packages. And I think that's why I jumped around from all the various different ones, Iris as well, and people like that. Dex came along, which kind of changed. We were called Receipt Bank at the time. Okay. We got into them fairly early, and we were able to do quite a lot with them and help them build, and it's fantastic. It's unbelievable. We literally, that's a centralized core of our business now. Is that it's now called Dex? Don't know where that name came from. They don't even know, to be honest, when I pass the account managers. And then that combines with the likes of Xero and everything, and that's where we kind of now built an entire business around that, and not just a business but an ethos in terms of your accounting system should help you run your business. They shouldn't. Absolutely, yeah. They shouldn't be the thing you go, I really don't want to go and turn that computer on and go on that. Yeah. That shouldn't be the case. And unfortunately, the old-fashioned way just won't do that. We get a lot of clients. We're in the process at the moment of trying to buy a couple of practices. One of them is fantastic. The retiree, she's spent a lot of time putting these systems in place, which is not, no offense to the older generation, but it's very unusual for that. Yeah. But she's spent a lot of time putting these processes in place. So we're actually buying a really, really healthy practice for the future, which is amazing, but it's very rare. The other one, not so much. So the other one is very old-fashioned, and he himself has kind of admitted that the reason he's getting out is because he doesn't want to use the technology, which is fine. Right. The issue now is
if you have someone who's just very, I don't want to say stubborn, but it's like they know how they want to do it, and this is how they've always done it. Yeah, and obviously you've got the added issue now that HMRC Making Tax Digital was the first big move they made into the digital market, which was a few years ago now. They're now doing it for self-employed as well, which is going to be absolute carnage. But it really is going to be carnage because, we struggle to get some of our clients to come in before the 31st of January, let alone dropping things in every quarter. So... but Making Tax Digital was HMRC kind of admitting that they needed to go down the modern route with the technology. They're now getting rid of the VAT portal altogether. Right, okay. At some point in the future, but you're not going to be able to submit on there. That submission part's gone. Making Tax Digital substitute that, but eventually they're talking about getting rid of the portal altogether, which saves them hundreds of thousands, if not millions a year in keeping up the website, whereas these big companies like Xero do it anyway. I don't know what the deal is with them. I'm assuming there is some form of commission deal in there, but I'm not going to say that too much. But it'll be something like that. But the thing is, these technology companies know what they're doing. Yeah. So even if HMRC are getting some benefit out of it, it makes complete sense because... As we've seen, the budget's been stretched so far, and HMRC is so understaffed, and it's not their fault that the actual staff that are in there, but they're down to 30% of what they were before COVID. Right. So now they're struggling to answer calls to us. We couldn't even speak to them in January on the phone about refunds because they didn't have the capacity. So we had to use a chat system, which is fine to a degree, but not when you've got clients bellowing down the phone wanting refunds. But that goes down to budget and finance from the government, unfortunately. But so I think the more that they can give to these private sector companies in terms of like Xero and stuff, who can help with that support, I think it can only be positive because I just don't think we've got the capacity for it. The thing is, I think especially with like lockdown as well, I'd say there's probably more of an influx of like people going self-employed. So a lot of people doing like sort of self-teaching to go and make their own business and stuff. 100%. With that, what advice would you give to someone who's a self-employed newcomer, like in terms of setting up like that? Do you know what? I get asked that question a lot. Yeah. What advice would I give to? And obviously clients come in and ask us and stuff. Yeah. In the past, maybe business advisors and accountants have given a blanket overview of, this is what you should do. Yeah. Somebody who is living at home like I was. Yeah. That's a completely different level of risk to somebody who's got 3 kids at home and they're about to start a business. So I think the old-fashioned way of blanket advice just doesn't work. That's why we always call ourselves we are accountants, but we also business advise as well. So we've done
ridiculous amounts of courses and stuff, and we have consultants that we work with that we can call basically. So if I'm in a meeting with a client, I feel like there's something here that's a little bit unusual. We've got consultants in every sector who are on the other end of the phone, so we'll ask them. But my advice would you can't go half in is the biggest thing. So we see a lot of clients where they'll kind of dip their toe into it and it won't go anywhere, and then they'll get frustrated and then they'll think, why is this not working? It's very, very difficult to start a business anywhere without the person who's running it not being all in. There is a massive level of risk. I'm not going to deny that. COVID was it was obviously a massively negative thing on the economy and stuff like that. But, and obviously people losing their lives, which was awful. But it did give that air of freedom to a lot of people who thought, well, actually, maybe I can start doing this. Obviously, online digital is the way forward for everything, pretty much.
And there's obviously a lot of businesses fully working from home as well, and that's sort of proof to a lot of people, even in their own day-to-day work lives. It's like, I can do this from home. I've got like this self-discipline, and employers were like seeing that as well. And then like people
that's I mean, Joan, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there. That's one of the things. If you are doing either a digital job or you're working from home, the discipline side of it is so important. But that also does work for just being self-employed in general. You've got to have discipline, and you've got to be able to. I mean, me and Ash talk about it quite a bit, and we laugh and joke about it. I think a lot of people who maybe aren't in business and they see the success and stuff like that, and they think, oh, that's easy, must be easy. It's really not. It's not easy. And I always say to Ash, what they don't see is the 100-hour weeks behind them and stuff like that. And I see clients of ours, some of them they are incredibly successful and they're very, very clever. But you see they work ridiculous hours. And unfortunately, as much as, I mean, as you're aware, me and Ash are obviously partners, and as well as in life as in business as well. But we do try and find that balance. So we do work hard, we do work a lot of hours, but it's important to find that home balance as well. Absolutely, and we try and say that to clients, that even if you've got an idea and you think it's amazing, it's not worth your personal life, because if you're successful, okay, money and cars and whatever you want to do, holidays and stuff, fair enough. Don't get me wrong, I do like those things. But if you've got nobody to spend the time with or to share it with, it's absolutely pointless. I mean, Ash made a huge difference to me when we kind of got together a few years ago. She made a massive difference to the business just by our home life, which was really, really strange for me, because I didn't realise how much of a correlation it had, especially after COVID and stuff, which was tough for everybody. So being at home and the home life that we have, and we go off on adventures and do all this kind of stuff, but that had such a positive impact on me in Fresh. I mean, we went from pre-COVID, we were about 120 clients. Right. Pre-COVID, we're now 520 clients and growing consistently. But a lot of that growth's come in the last couple of years. And me and Ash got together in the last couple of years, and we kind of push each other, which is really good. So again, if you are starting out and you've got a really good partner there and they're supportive of you, then use that rather than use it rather than abuse it, kind of thing. So make sure you realise the positive impact they're having.
I suppose as well, with like, especially if you don't have like a partner who's in the same boat as you, like self-employed, the support is massive, and educating them as well as
huge.
Yeah, educating them about like what your business is. I mean, obviously don't sit them down with a PowerPoint and pitch to them or anything. But like, if they get an understanding of your business and what needs to go into it, that communication's key. I mean, obviously, you're lucky that you're both in that self-employed situation, so you're learning off each other. But your family and friends, like, teach them what you do, and then they can sort of reciprocate that support.
I mean, I didn't even think about it when I got into business, but obviously, as I mentioned at the start, my mum and dad are massive support for me throughout the years. And I mean, when
it's like you saying that's a very similar thing to me. Like, I obviously start in my bedroom, and obviously my parents are massive supports of like what I do, and you need to surround yourself with those people.
Yeah, huge. I mean, I didn't even think about it when I started. That my dad had his own business when I was a kid, so he had a business and he understood it. My mum had her own business as well, and which I found out later on as well. And I thought, actually, I'm being raised by two people who were self-employed at the time. When they weren't self-employed, after the businesses were gone, and they probably wanted a bit of a simpler life. Yeah, they were both factory workers. My dad's an engineer. Yeah, mum on the shop floor. Yeah. And they worked 8 till 6 every day, and that hard work, that work ethic kind of comes from them. And the same, my brother, obviously, you touched on the AXES run, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But obviously, my brother's got the AXES house with myself, and we do all have that work ethic. We do want to work hard, and I lost that a little bit in my early 20s, and I think that's where everything was failing a little bit, because I kind of maybe got a little bit ahead of myself. But when I got it firmly back, and now I see it in my brother, and I see it in my mum and dad, and it's like, even my mum's like 74 and retire, but she has to do everything herself. So it's that kind of mentality. So
Yeah.
It's amazing where it comes from, and it's nice to know where it's come from as well, I think.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. You sort of touched a little bit, which sort of connects to my next question, your personal life, what you do. Another accountant myth is that they're quite tight when it comes to money.
Oh, no. I'm really not.
So, yeah, I know you're good with money, but are you good with your money?
No. I'm absolutely terrible.
What does your, when you've got the piggy bank, when you crack into that piggy bank, what does that go towards? Like, what kind of things that you do? What things that you do?
Oh, honestly, Rob, we did a thing the other day, me and Ash, right? So we went to Aldi for some shopping, and we're terrible for it with a pair of us. And I said to Ash, this is when you know business is going well. We went in and we saw this pan. Right? It was a kid's pancake making pan. It had shapes of bears in it. And we both went, yep, buying that. I got home and I went, why have I bought this? And we were both going, and we didn't, Pancake Tuesdays didn't even make any pancakes. I was like, what? Absolutely pointless.
You had the perfect thing.
It's got bears on it. And I was like, what are we doing? Why have we got this? But it's still no kitchen unused. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to have to find something for that. But apart from stupid pans that we buy, but in general, it's travelling. We're both massive into travelling. Ash's dad was obviously in the RAF, so she lived in Cyprus for 12 years. She then lived in Germany as well. So she's never really been stuck here in the UK.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate, thanks to my parents, that I spent my childhood going on holiday quite a lot, which was nice. So yeah, that's it. We've got a few holidays booked this year, but it's kind of what we do. And the thing is, what I say we've again had them negative comments, which everyone gets. Oh, they're on holiday all the time, all this kind of stuff, which is fine. Okay, we are. But again, I said they don't see us taking our laptops with us, and we have full travel screens and everything. We have a full setup that we can take with us. It goes with us everywhere we go. We get back at night, we're on the laptop, or we get up early, we're on the laptop. So we are always working. It's part and parcel of it. What we try and do is maybe a couple of hours in the morning, a couple of hours in the night, so it doesn't affect the actual holiday, and we can go and do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Because it isn't, like I say, important to spend time together outside of the laptop. We do spend a lot of time away, and obviously our ultimate goal in the next couple of years is to obviously live part of the year away. So we're looking at the lovely island of Menorca, which I've been going there since I was one. We know a lot of people out there. Same place, Callum. It's beautiful. So we're looking at potentially 6 months out there as well, and 6 months here. So that would be remote working over there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
we've got fresh HQ. It would be a hell of a commute. Do you know it'd be cheaper than getting the train from London though? So we can't deny that. But yeah, it's we're obviously very fortunate. We've got fresh HQ, and we've got 11, 12 staff there who are fantastic, and there are more coming as well.
Brilliant.
So it will allow us to do that. We are talking, I was telling the guys that if they do let us go, because we do always ask the guys if they were comfortable with things. So I said if they do let us go, we'll go and do a week's training camp in Menorca, which they were all massively up for.
All funded,
and then we'll work remotely out there, and they were all really happy about that.
You could set off like two completely different bases. Go international.
Well, it is. I mean, we trialled it for a month last year in Menorca. We went to Menorca for a month in June. Ash had to pop back for a wedding, and I popped back for a Guns N' Roses gig with the dad, with Ash's dad. So it was a good excuse. But other than that, we were out there and we worked 6, 7 in the morning till about 2 in the afternoon. Finish up. Go down to, there's a family-run restaurant, so we call it The Boys, which we know the whole family who run it. Yeah. Go down there, have some lunch, and then we went on the beach.
Fantastic.
It's better than coming home and sitting in my pants and eating chocolate. so it was...
Gets you out,
Gets me out of the house, yeah. So that was kind of how we did that.
So you said that was your favourite travel destination then? Or is there...
Yeah, I just love it there. Yeah. I love, do you know, because it's... Callum is in Menorca, so Menorca's the least commercialised. Obviously, Ibiza and Mallorca are very commercialised.
Of course, yeah.
Menorca is... I was always told Menorca's where the Spanish go on holiday. So it's a really beautiful untouched place. The food's fantastic. The people are amazing. It's just a really calm vibe. It's not Ibiza and Magaluf in Menorca.
It's part of the party life.
Different. Whereas Menorca's just really, really relaxed.
What you'd sort of think, like that sort of part of the country. Like
I mean, Annie Lennox, I used to have a house there. Well, there you go. Well, Eurythmics quite chilled out. So there you go. I think that's a good analogy right there.
Testimonial for the place. Brilliant. Is there any like what's like a dream travel location for you guys?
Oh, that's hard. So one of my best friends, Nicola, she moved out to. She went to Australia in January 2020. She's just come back. It's the first time I've seen her in 4 years.
Yeah.
She went out in Jan 2020. Obviously, COVID hit, so they just extended visas indefinitely. She's only meant to be there a year.
Right.
So she's literally just come back. I've just seen her for the first time in 4 years. So we've been chatting and stuff, and we're planning, and we're going to go out there next November, I think. I always want to go. Always want to go to Australia and New Zealand. Really high on my list. They always have been. Ash has now said she wants to go to Bali while we're over there, so I'm guessing we're going there as well. But I mean, Bali's beautiful as well. So I think the plan will be probably next winter, because obviously that's their summer over there. So probably next October, November. We'll look at going over there and doing that, probably over there for a month.
Nice one.
But it's always been a dream destination to go there.
Yeah.
That and the Maldives. There you go, Maldives.
Oh, there you go. You touched on like your musical. What was the most memorable gig that you've ever been to?
Ooh, memorable gig. That's difficult. Just booked AC/DC tickets actually, which I'm again. That is a live stream to see them. So we've literally just got tickets today, which I can't wait for. Do you know what it is? I've seen some amazing bands. We're massive into music, me and Ash. We've got three festivals this summer that we've booked ourselves, and then obviously because we've got the trailer for the AXES, we're actually we've just got into download, which is like huge. Brilliant. So, and I've always wanted to go. I haven't been to download before. I've always wanted to go. But yeah, in terms of favourite gigs, it's hard. Do you know what it is? I've had some really good ones with my parents, which have been really nice. So my dad's massive into music. Mum was into music. My dad is like just ridiculously into music. Yeah. We used to have a rule in our house on a Sunday afternoon. We weren't allowed the TV on. We just put music on, which was great. We used to love it. Yeah. So we'd have our dinner and just put records on all afternoon. Yeah. And I got the opportunity a couple of years ago to go and see Genesis with my dad.
Oh, right, okay.
Dad's a massive Genesis fan. We managed to get tickets, and that was a really like kind of, and he's seen them a couple of times, and he loves Phil Collins, we all do, and it was a nice full circle thing. Obviously, Phil's not very well, unfortunately, but his voice was still fantastic. So I think because of being able to watch my dad, that was amazing. And then we also went to see Kings of Leon, which I took them both to, because they're both massive Kings of Leon fans. Yeah. And we went to see them for the first time, and I think everyone cried. We all cried, which was lovely. It was a really nice moment because we were all at a gig together. So I think ones like that are really, really special to do.
Yeah, brilliant.
And the nice thing is now I've started going to gigs with Ash's dad. So Ash's dad's massive into music as well. Nice. So we went to Guns N' Roses in Glasgow together. Way too drunk. But yeah, we started doing it as well, which is nice. And then so Paul and my dad and we went to Hardwick Live, all of us last year together, which is really nice. It's now seeing both our families spend time, which is it's really, really nice. And me and Ash have a very good taste in music. We have a very broad taste in music, but it comes arguably from our parents, if not more so our dads, let's say. Yeah. But they both have a massively broad sense of music, which is great.
How do you juggle? Now, this is metaphorically, not physically.
I would generally thought you were going to make me juggle. I was like, I don't.
How do you juggle AXES and taxes?
Oh, that's a good line. I bet you were really proud of that one.
I was really happy. Guess what the episode's called?
Oh, nice. I love that. That's really, really good. If it's not that, I'd be really disappointed. Yeah, it's a strange one. Do you know what it is? I don't give my brother a lot of credit at times. I haven't always.
This is where he's going to get the credit now.
He absolutely is. But ever since the AXES, it was a fantastic idea. I'll completely never telling that again. But it was a fantastic idea, and it was one of those ideas when he came to me and said he'd basically tried it in Poland, and he got really, really obsessed with it. He came and sat in the office, and he said, "Look, I've got this idea." This was 2019 as well, by the way, so we're getting into the COVID pandemic in a second. But he came with this idea and he said, look, I really want to try it. And I thought, do you know what it is? Actually, it was just starting to become popular. Obviously, Game of Thrones, Vikings, that kind of thing.
Ah, okay.
They have a massive link on that. It was already big in America, as all these strange sports usually are. I mean, come on, they think American football's a world title. It's really not. So it was already big in America, but it actually started from lumberjacks in Canada.
All right, okay.
So it started over there. Christopher had kind of, like you say, picked up on it, and he thought it was a really good idea, and he thought it may take off in the UK. So we sat and thought about it for a while, and I thought, actually, do you know what it is, Chris? This is not a bad idea. I think it could do something. We also realised that, obviously, spending where we live, there's not a lot there, especially for
in terms of like leisure sort of.
Yeah, for people to do, there's nothing really there other than go to the pub, which I like the pub, but there hasn't got any AXES in it.
No.
So
need a bit of physical sort of.
Yeah, so I mean, you're saying about me juggling taxes and AXES. You want to see me juggling trying to get an alcohol license? That was juggling. So yeah, we kind of come up with this idea. We went through some funding channels. We managed to get one of the business startup loans, which one of the things our government got right, to be fair to them. It was there is a very, very good business fund in this country. So we got a start-up loan. Took a while to get through because it was obviously quite a large amount. So we borrowed 25,000 at the start. Took a while to get through. By the time we did get through, we were then had this money and we were like, right, we need to sign off on a premises and stuff. So we signed off on a premises on the 9th of March 2020.
Right.
Something happened in March 2020.
That is that timing.
Yeah. So we got the keys and signed the lease 2 days before the cut-off. No.
All right.
On the good side.
Oh, the good side. Okay.
So if it was 2 days later, we wouldn't have had access to any of the council grant funding that saved businesses.
Okay.
So we would have had a 5-year lease that we would have had to pay personally.
Right. Okay.
Or use the loan, which would have just then fizzled out.
Yeah.
So thankfully, we were on the right side of that. So we got the grant funding for rental and stuff for leisure.
Yeah.
Which again, I mean, kudos to Durham County Council. They were the first to get every grant out that was available because obviously we worked with businesses because of the accountancy firm.
Yeah.
Durham County Council were always first. To be fair to them, they were great. Spoke to a lovely lady at the council and she informed me that we were in by 2 days, which was thank the Lord. So we then had this beautiful opportunity that the rent was going to be paid. Mm-hmm. Had this money. I put about another 15,000 in-ish over the build time. So we had a decent budget. Now we'd seen some places in America, really nice. Like they spend the money over there, to be fair to them. They don't care about alcohol licenses, so everyone had a bar in them and they were all really cool. And I said, oh, Christopher, that's how we want to look. And he went, absolutely, I'm not. And we'd seen a couple over here. I'm not going to mention any. We've already had enough war of words with them. So they were just units with targets in. And I thought, it's a bit cold, a bit impersonal. Mm-hmm. We got to work. So there was myself, my brother, and a friend of mine, Andy, who's a joiner. I can say that now because I don't really care, but obviously it was during COVID, so he was a worker, so he was allowed there. We were allowed there because we're the owners of the business. So us three basically built this thing. Andy with his really good, amazing joinery skills. Mine and Chris was not so much, but we got there in the end. And then we got some like really nice seating in there, and this wood panel wall. God love my brother. He actually snapped his wrist doing it. So we got 100 pallets that he broke apart individually by himself, and he was just breaking them apart, and it snapped a little bone in his wrist. And he carried on going because he's an absolute ox. So we built this wood panel wall of 100 pallets, and then we finally got up on the mezzanine to do the mezzanine, and I turned around to him and said, I think another wall would look good up here. And honestly, the look on his face is just to say, no, please don't. So we actually went out and bought a pallet of pre-broken ones just so he could save his wrists. Yeah, he put his blood, sweat and tears in that place, I must admit. Amazing. So we built this thing, but I said we wanted it to look nice inside, and if anyone's seen it or if anyone does go and look at it, you'll see the inside. We've spent a lot of time in there. So yeah, that's kind of where the idea came from and how we built it and why we built it the way we did. And then my brother spotted an opportunity. It was like summertime 22. A guy down south, Toby, emigrated to Australia, had this beautiful, beautiful rig. It had targets either side as well, as the two in the centre, and the whole business was for sale.
Right.
Moving to Australia, and it was like an absolute cut down price. It was like, I think we paid him 25 grand for the whole lot, which also, by the way, included a Ford Wildtrak truck. Probably worth that at the time.
I was going to say,
So it was an absolute steal for what it was. So my brother spotted it. We kind of got that sorted using B&I connections. Big up Mark, who used to be in our chapter. He kind of sorted all the finance out for us, and we kind of got that one on the road, and then it sat there for a bit because we didn't really. We bought this rig, which was a really good price, and then we went, right, what do we do with it then? So do we do anything with it? And we had nothing booked in other than the festivals that Toby had given us as part of the contract, all down in Cornwall, because that's where he was from. A long way to haul that. Not for me, because I wouldn't go in the truck without, because I refused, so he had to drive it home. But it was like 12 hours to get there and 12 hours to get back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we kind of, we piggybacked on the festivals that he gave us. A couple of festivals were Camp Festival, which is like 25,000 people. Decent size, 20 to 25. This year's going to be very, very different. We've now got, obviously, Ash helps with the bookings because she's the smart one. And she does all the accreditation because she's very, very organised. So she does all the accreditation for all of us. We kind of just go, Stuff.
Smash the photo and
yeah, it is. We're just like just let Ash do it. She's fantastic at organised. And then a friend of ours, Callum. I mean, all Callum's great. Let's be honest. So he came to the festivals with us all last summer. He's got lots of contacts in festivals, and he's now coming in on the trailer business. So he's actually going to be coming in on that business, and he's helping us with the organisation. And like I mentioned to you earlier that we're now potentially into download. We're just waiting on the final bits, that's going to be the biggest festival we've done by a country mile, because it's like 80,000 people, something like that, maybe more.
Amazing.
And a very good lineup. So
do you think like your premises and the trailer side of things are two very obviously the same sort of thing, but it's the premise for like reach, I suppose.
Yeah.
With like the premises, obviously it's great premises. Obviously, it's got so much personality. I've been there. It's amazing. Like obviously, do you get like quite a lot of like return like Because I imagine like there's obviously you probably get the clients where they're like, oh, we'll do this as a one-off sort of night out sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then you probably get the people who want to try it and then do better and
So this is why. So last year we set up a members night. So on a Monday we have members nights now.
Yeah.
It started off as kind of an idea, and that was for that idea was we had a lot of people return constantly. So we started out by we do a discount if you leave us a review. Then we changed that to people who were returning all the time. We'd give them like a free drink and stuff like that. And again, now Christopher came to me and said, "Look, I've got this idea. What do you think about a members night? Because Mondays we're always closed on a Monday because it's like a bit of a dead day, really."
Yeah.
He said, "What do you think about members Monday?" I thought that's great. Members Monday sounds really good. I was like, "That's a great idea." So we'll just run with that. And then now we've got. I don't actually know. I should have found out how many members. I'm sorry, Krista. We that's growing constantly.
Yeah.
And you can do it as either a year's membership, which just costs like 10 months. You get 12, or you can do it monthly. And with that, you get discount on all bookings, discount on all merch, discount on drinks, discount on everything basically, as well as your exclusive use on a Mondays just for members.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of uptake on it.
Good.
And that's what, like, with the venues, like you were alluding to there, it's the venue's kind of where it is. That's it. You can't really move it.
No.
Little bit of a sneak peek. We are looking at another venue, but I'm not going to tell anyone where that is. But yeah, so other than going and getting other venues, you can't really move it. That's where the trailer was a really, really smart move. I feel for us. We obviously knew the potential of it as a business, but when you get a trailer, it just broadens it massively because you can go anywhere.
It's a walking or rolling advertisement for.
It's huge. I mean, the truck. I don't know. You haven't seen the truck. Well, Christopher's got it wrapped and everything from. There's a business called Simply Stripes right across the road from us.
Yeah.
So they did all this wrap for us, which is amazing. We're now doing some more stuff on the trailer as well. Had some lovely signs made by Phil. Phil's made a lot of signs for us. We've got some more coming. So we are using it basically as a big billboard. That's effectively what it is. And this, because we kind of cornered the festival market a little bit this year, and we've got a lot of them in. We've now switched our focus to like weddings, corporate days.
Ah, right, okay, yeah. Because it's that's part of the thing, like just getting some entertainment. It's like that.
It's something
to talk about, isn't it?
It's something completely different.
I think the nice thing about that business, it's a very nice thing to talk about. Yeah. Like it's instantly gotten people's interest. Like, just throw an AXES. That's amazing.
That's a lot more entertaining than accountancy.
Well,
so yeah, it is. Yeah. I could sit and talk about it all day. But yeah, the wedding scene for us is the next big thing for us, and we try and get into more venues. We've spoken to Vicky at Hallgarth, and we're trying to get into Hardwick and places like that. And if we can get into more places like that and get the trailer around the wedding stuff, you can do anything with it. So now my brother's interested now in a second one. I'm trying to hold him back a little bit on that. I said, let's fill the calendar. We're pretty much. I mean, the summer's pretty much full. So if we do start getting more and more inquiries, it probably is something we're going to have to look at. But I'm definitely not driving it. He's going to have to get someone else to drive it because I'm not pulling that around. It's an endless opportunity with it, really. And where do we go next? The next big thing for us is the interactive boards, which you'll have probably seen in various different places. There's a couple of companies in America have now built them for AXES places, so you can play like battleships and stuff on the boards. Wow. It's really cool. So
that's awesome.
So we're looking at sourcing one now for our UV area. That's going to be the next thing for us, and then potentially getting them on all the lanes as well. But then also taking them to festivals and having a bit of fun with it and stuff like that. So yeah,
that's amazing. Right, well, Before we finish off, I'm just going to throw a few random questions at you that I have not prepared you for. And also, you're a Doctor Who fan, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, so this is a very Doctor Who related question. If I don't mention Doctor Who somewhere in these podcasts, then it's, if you had a TARDIS, if you could go back in time, when you first started your business journey,
Okay.
you could give your past self one piece of advice. What would you give?
Yeah, I probably would. I'd go back to my early 20s and kind of just probably tell myself to slow down a little bit and not kind of think you've made it when you haven't.
Yeah,
that was my issue then. So I would definitely tell myself just either I'll give myself a slap, one of the two. So either way, I'd get the point across.
Time travel ripple effect. That
but just kind of slow down a little bit. Business is very fast paced. It is, and it always will be. But you've got to pick and choose those times where you do slow down and you actually sit back and take stock of what you've got, what you haven't got, what you need to do. Yeah. Because it's very, very easy to get stuck down one route. If that route's not good for your business or yourself, then like I say, it really, really damaged my business massively back then. So, yeah, if I could kind of look at that and do that, then and tell myself that, then I definitely would.
That's good advice for generally people who are going self-employed. Yeah, it's just being. I suppose it's been reflective, isn't it, on what's going on? No, that's a great answer. What would you say? What would you say is your kryptonite? What's your biggest weakness, do you think?
Ooh, that's a good one. Do you know what it is? It was one I don't maybe much have it now, but I used to have this really bad, especially when I was kind of in my early 20s. I tried to please everybody. I did that a lot. Yeah. I was really bad for it. I used to get told off by my older friends a lot, like, "Come on, like, why are you doing that for? They're not your friends," that kind of stuff. So that was a big problem I had in my early 20s. I think a lot of people probably do that at a younger age.
Yes,
probably go through that. If they're with older people as well, I think they probably do. Which my friend group was older. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I struggled with that really bad. I did. Not so much now. Yeah. I'm kind of the opposite way a little bit now. I mean.
That's good stuff. That's just showing you sort of growth in, like.
Yeah, and I always said, Ash, like, my motto. It's a really, really bad motto, but my motto, I always said, Ash, is just don't give a shit. it's my motto now. It's just don't give a shit. Yeah. Unless somebody gives a shit about you, then don't. Yeah. Or them, because if they're not affecting your life or anything like that, then you don't need them.
Absolutely, no, I totally agree.
If they are, then make sure they know that you're there as well. I think if somebody is giving you that support and stuff like that, then make sure they know you've got their back too.
Perfect. No, yeah, absolutely. If you could have any superpower, what superpower would it be?
That's a really good question.
Notice I've thrown these like ridiculous superhero time travel sort of nerdy questions at the end
that's
here.
That's a really good question. What would I'd just like to be really fast.
Really fast?
Yeah.
The Flash?
Yeah, could run anywhere in 2 seconds. Yeah. And I'm like, do you know what it is? Because obviously in our business, it's meetings run over, so I'm constantly late. It'd be great if I could just run really fast and I'd be there. It'd be fantastic. I'd be there in 2 seconds.
Petrol as well, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Just sprint everywhere, and it's just, that would definitely be mine. Yeah,
that's good stuff. Right. Well, final question: where can people find you online?
Oh, right. So obviously our headquarters are based in Spennymoor, so we call them Fresh HQ. That's in Spennymoor in County Durham, obviously. But yeah, if you go to. Well, we have a few sites, as we've touched on. Yeah, we have a few offshoots of the business, in case you haven't noticed. I'm not going to go into too many of them because I know we're going to get Ash in to do one of these at some point.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I'm going to leave that side to Ash.
Get a different side of the story there.
Yeah, that'll be great. I hope she comes in and just absolutely tears me apart. That'll be brilliant. So yeah, we can be found online. So if you go to freshbusinessgroup.co.uk, you'll find all of our companies. We have a few. If you want to go direct to Fresh Business Solutions, just freshbusinesssolutions.co.uk, and you'll find us on there. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Fresh Business Solutions UK. You'll find us on all of those. And then if you do go to our site, we do constantly give tips and resources to, even if you aren't a client, you can sign up to our newsletter. And on that newsletter is loads of resources that we've created that are in plain English and all the latest news in plain English that's written by our very talented marketing team. So people can get information from us without even being a client.
Yeah, fantastic. That's really good. All right, well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Callum.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of NEBiznis. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this favourite on whichever platform that you are tuning in on. Remember to follow us on social media as well at NEBiznis. Thanks for joining us today. And until next time, remember, any business is our business.